Welcome to the Molybdenum Software Show, where I need a haircut.
I wish I had more hair.
Now I wish I had your beard.
Thank you.
Do, 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 do. Where are we?
We filed a bug with
There's no response on
NCI.
that.
Did he do his normal insta fix quick response or?
No response yet.
Okay. I may have forgotten. I wasn't sure if I forgot to subscribe. Okay.
I also gave him the I added to find myself here. Label and filter, but not myself. Well, author, me, not necessarily open. It was about the file sets, to create file set.
Oh, did you end up dropping a link to what we did?
Yeah. For create file set. Added, here's what we ended up doing. That's the PR. No, it's a commit, apparently. And each module, because there is no PR. Each module can specify its own file set, and they are merged using unions. There's a bit more detail that you can observe.
Cool. Looks great.
And now we have source filtering. What was the last thing we did? We updated NCI to wherever we could have until before we hit a bug.
Yep. So I think it was we wanted to update NCI. You didn't want to do that until we fixed the source filtering bug. So we fixed the source filtering bug. We updated NCI. We ran into a bug in NCI. So we bisected and updated NCI as far as we could. And then we filed a bug report about the reason we have it pinned. So I think that's all the excitement we can do with NCI right now. And then I think the next thing that we were talking about but didn't get to last night, you sounded pretty motivated to do drop Alejandra and switch to using the pipe operator.
Right.
The pipe operator smells a little extreme to me. Like, if we do that, is it going to force our users to enable the pipe operator? For instance, I consume our flake to deploy this on my home lab, but I don't have the pipe operator enabled.
I think so, right? But what it means that it is enabled in the flake, right? So it will force them to. It is still a project-specific thing. It'll force them to accept the flake config.
Yeah, so I have a little experience with that when I'm using a flake. I don't know how that works with like dependencies of a flake.
Me neither. We could do it and then find out.
Yep. It feels inappropriate for a library and acceptable for end things like, you and my personal flake definitions.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe that's like I'm drawing a weird line in the sand because, there are people who would tell us, hey, dude, you're writing a whole bunch of Nix code in the flake ecosystem, and that's experimental as well. So what's another experimental unstable feature?
Well, I hope that we will get to be the first users of this for Nix packages. So experiment around and find out,
Okay.
as they say. Okay, over to you.
All right. So we'll start with moving to away from Alejandra.
Yes, please.
Okay, mob start 7. Mob T open.
I think it's called Nix packages. Huh?
What's that?
Nix, what's it called? The
Nix RFC something. I don't know.
Nix packages. It's no longer called RFC. I think it's just called.
Called Nix
Maybe it's
Funct,
called
isn't
Nix
it?
Funct. Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't have put a dash in there, but whatever. Formatting Alejandra Nix Funct dot enable. Funct.
I think it's Nix. Nix packages. Isn't
You want me to pull up
it?
the like parts
No, you're
of
right.
this?
It's Nix Funct.
Yep, it's called Nix Funct. Under the hood, it uses Nix Funct RFC style.
But that's outdated. That's like a deprecated package.
Okay. Then these docs or this module is out of date as well.
Right. This option.
Yeah. So that maybe should get changed. Is that something we should PR to TreeFunt?
Yeah, we could.
Let's do it. So you're saying if I do something like legacy packages.x86, I'm going to get like a deprecation warning here.
Probably.
All right, let's see. Up deprecated Linux dot thing it's using is nixfunct RFC style. I did not get a warning.
Well, see whether it's the same derivation. It's just Nix Funct.
These are not the
Yeah.
same. So nixfunct got deprecated and renamed to nixfunct classic. And someday it may get used, but it may get, this may get renamed to that, but that hasn't happened yet, it sounds like. Does that,
Is there another thing like Nix from unstable or something? Classic. So Nick,
yeah,
what is Nix from classic? It is Nix Funct.
it's the old nixfunct. The thing that had, I think this thing's,
It's
the new nixfunct started as a fork of what is now called
it's
nixfunct
the
classic.
same. Nix Funct and Nix Funct classic is the same.
Except nixfunct comes with a warning because it got
Right.
renamed.
Hmm.
So I think this is correct. It's not using anything deprecated.
So
All
it's
right.
tree from Nix that is ahead with its
Yes.
naming.
Yeah. It's predicting the future. And hopefully got it right. Okay. Nice big diff that we don't care about. Get diff t. Some changes. Do you want to look through this? I do not feel the need to.
No.
Great. I'm done. What is this, a chore?
It is actually, there's a type for this. It's called style.
Okay. That just a nice semantic thing, or does it have an implication for semver?
It does not trigger a version bump.
Okay. So just for semantics and maybe for the changelog or something. All right, so I'll say style, use nix funct. Do we want to use the right name?
Mm-hmm.
Alejandra?
Yes.
Okay. Git log dash p. There we go. Okay, look good?
Thank you.
Should be cached. Git push origin head main. Just waiting for next like check to finish. All right, great. Here we go, pushing. And GCM pull and gb-d use next. All right. And I'll rotate. That's the end of one thing.
Let's do it. Cool. T libpipe.
Sure.
I right doors.
Oh, is there any issue we can close?
Yes. Like mix config perhaps. Look at mine. That seems like it.
Okay.
Like this. Oh, we have that already.
Okay.
We have the feature
Good to know.
enabled. But we don't have one. We don't have a pipe. We couldn't have a pipe operator because Alejandro would have failed.
Got it.
Okay. The pipe. Just one. Like.
Fish. Okay.
All right. So the whole thing still probably needs to be in parentheses, but the pipe is not a thing, and the list is not a thing. So it could perhaps take the entire contents of. Let's do this. I'll go here for a pipe. And place another one here. And then one here. Then one here. Then I could possibly take all these lines and replace this list with them. And then save, and it formats.
All right.
And this, if it doesn't work correctly, we will just fail because we have a file set.
What's the precedence rules? Can we drop some parens now?
What, from here, for example?
Yeah, and on the previous one.
You're right. I think you're right. Let's see.
I mean, that seems like really the only selling point of this is that we have a. Otherwise, this doesn't really feel any better than the array we had.
Here. And then here. Yep.
Very nice.
Okay. Check. Perfect. So here's the diff.
Looks great.
What takes precedence? The pipe operator or the concatenation operator? Because if it's the pipe operator, we don't need the external parenthesis.
Yeah, that one stresses me out. Like, you might be right that it works the way we want, but my brain has more trouble parsing that. But I'm also just, maybe I'd get used to it.
I think it would be the pipe operator because it's a function call, right? It would be closer to like function calls than to.
I have no idea.
Let's find out. Simply this over that. Okay, now we don't really know, so let's just try it. Yeah, no, it's not the same. So that's not the
Great.
precedence.
So we don't have to debate readability. We can just debate correctness. All right, cool. I am relieved.
Commit. I don't think we have any more pipes. No, we don't. How come we don't?
We had another one that disappeared with the NCI work.
Okay. So this is.
What's funny is this is another one that would disappear if NCI had the right features.
This is good, right?
I mean, wouldn't you call this a breaking change?
No, because we already had we didn't
Oh, I
add the experimental feature.
see. Okay, sounds good.
Do
Well, I
you
wonder if it
want?
worked though. Like people before could have ignored our flake config, and things would have worked, and now it won't. Right? Because Nix asks you if you want to accept the config. You don't have to.
Does it? You don't have to.
I don't think you do. Like it says, do you want to trust this? Yes, no.
And then you think it would let you evaluate? And if there happened to be no such usage of that experimental feature,
Yeah, I
it
don't
would
know.
just work.
I do not know.
We could try that. We could try it. Let me yank this. It's
All right. How do we test this?
open up any flake that doesn't have pipe.
Okay. This flake does not have pipes.
You can even edit that out. We don't even need Nix packages there.
I'm astonished that this 44 megabyte download is so slow. It's like GitHub rate limiting. There we go. Yeah. That's some experimental featuring right there, right?
Right. But we don't want to have it. We want to not have it.
Here we go. This is our flake without any experimental anything.
The theory is that there is Nix config.experimental features. And we don't accept it.
So I need to figure out how to revoke my. This must be a global thing, not a per project thing. And I probably accepted this
If
somewhere.
this is a project thing, but if you have it globally enabled, it won't ask you about it, I suppose.
Okay. I don't know that I have it globally enabled. Let's see.
Or
Yeah, there's no occurrence of pipe operators, so this is not defined on my system.
then it's just state. It's like
Yeah.
dot like dot local share Nix. That's the
Settings.
setting.
Yep. So yeah, this pipe operators thing is this is a global.
You could probably just remove everything. You'll be asked again on all of that.
Yeah. But the one that we're talking about is this one. And if I do this,
False is not the same as not existing. You really want to see the
Sure.
full
But we did
experience.
trigger the warning, right? But I can remove it as well.
There are two. Interestingly.
Oh, yeah, the pair of them. Good eye. Okay. Strange. Okay. So I can say no.
There you go. Well, no need to do it permanently. And then we wanted to. So that was the. Did it succeed in evaluating?
Yep.
So you're right.
And there,
Now,
yeah. So yeah, I think one could argue that what we just did is a breaking change. I mean, it was weird that we added the experimental thingy, which caused noise for our users unnecessarily. But
okay, then I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't add it.
okay.
I think you're right that experimental features are more easily tested by leaf repositories.
Mhm.
That's
That's
more
fine by me.
appropriate. Cool.
So should we drop the drop it from our flake.nix?
Sure, yeah. It'll be a while before that's relevant.
Right, so what I will do here is flake.nix, and we'll delete this thing. The no URL literals will leave though.
Oh, that's what you were asking, whether to remove it to the feature?
That's what I was asking, was we aren't using this feature, so why ask for it?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, great. It's funny because it still wants me to turn on. Oh well. We also remove that. We're just using this for CI purposes, right?
It's silly because we're not using URL literals anywhere. Like, there's
Yeah.
no.
This
Not
is
even all Nix users know about URL literals.
this is for CI purposes, right? Like our check or something. Like we could change this to do no URL literals, and then our users wouldn't have this noise.
Maybe.
That seems like a better way of doing this, right? Like, because the only reason we're doing this here is so that CI enforces that we don't accidentally put any URL literals in our code.
This makes sure of that earlier. But again,
Yes. Yeah.
no one uses URL literals anyway.
Right.
It's more like a typo thing that
Yeah.
you might forget quotes around a URL, and
Right.
so you may be right that it's not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth bothering our users with an experimental feature.
I'd vote for removing it then, if that works for you. And then do you want me to replace the various? We can basically look for all of these and deny. Don't know how to search for things that have. Really? Oh, RG's ignoring my .github folder. Guess I need to figure out how to change that. I'm going to change these to say no URL literal.
Is that a
Or should we
thing?
just?
You tried locally?
Oh, great question. I guess it would be extra experimental features. No URL. Literal. Click show. And let me try that with.
I think it's not worth it at all.
Okay.
Forget
That's even
about
easier
this.
then. Delete that, and we can leave the accept plate config, or we could remove it. Doesn't matter.
If we want to say no flake config is necessary, then we remove it.
Yeah,
That's
you're right.
the user
Because,
experience that we're trying
yeah,
to
that's a
achieve.
good point. Yep, I agree. Okay. Docs.yaml.
Be right back.
Sure. File feature.
Back.
Hey, I don't know what to call this in the semantic commit universe.
No experimental feature.
What's the
The
tag?
type.
Is it
It's
feature?
a feature.
Okay.
Feat.
Feet. No
No
experiment.
Nix experimental feature.
Oh
Or
my gosh.
feat with scope flake, no experimental feature.
Looks good.
Yes.
Okay. And I already ran an X-Flake check, so I'm pushing directly to main. Great. Dunzo. I'll rotate over to you.
Feat. Which main? Did you push it directly to main?
Hopefully.
Operators.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's landed.
Cool. Let's see. Push. Delete. Origin. Good. There it is. Issue. I believe now we can do the live server, dev server thing.
All right.
XC dev server start it. The experience would be, well, I suppose we'd have the experience would be just having a command in the shell, right, in the dev shell.
Yep.
So for this feature, there will be like a dev shell
I think do we add them in util.nix? Because that's where we define all these little dev utilities.
Here is the util.
Yep, there they are. I think we could add another one for run API.
Here?
I think we're going to put it in the util crate, so feels reasonable to me.
Will it be a... But you... Oh. Yeah. Where the... So the name is automatically brought in from the help? How do we get the help?
I thought that would do it. If you do it during reload.
Menu.
Whoops.
Okay. Will it be another one of these?
Sure. I like how this is kind of self-documenting, so feels good to me. Run API.
API dev server?
I don't know. Run API seems, or I mean, you want the word dev in there, I guess. I feel like API and server is redundant.
But run dev API.
And there could be a run dev fetcher someday. If we ever need it. But I don't know. I mean, doesn't util mean dev utility? Like DB REPL and SQLX prepare are also dev utilities.
Yes, cargo run. So it's util run API. Package. Util. Then
Run API.
Now there's some DR. Now there's some repetition here. In
Where's the repetition?
Help. They all happen to be in the same crate. So it's all cargo run package util with the bin. And this is like similar to that.
I see.
But I'm not yet bothered by that. Run. Start an API server instance.
Love it.
Something. Something with the highlighting is wrong. I'm not sure that the code is wrong though.
Code looks good.
Okay,
Back to tree sitter.
let's see it fail. Year-end reload. Should not fail yet.
I think it'll.
I mean,
never mind.
Year-end reload.
Right. It'll do the cargo
Run
command. And then that'll fail.
API.
Great.
There's no such targets. Okay. Util cargo tomo. I'm not sure the targets are explicit here. I think they're just crates util source.
So I know you're
Bin, 2
pretty
bins here.
allergic to writing shellcode, but this thing is going to turn around and do like a cargo run, isn't it?
That's what it says.
I mean, to run the API, aren't we going to then do like a cargo run of
I don't know yet what we're going to do.
Okay. Because that's the thing with the main.rs that we want to run, is the API crate.
Mm-hmm. Right. So what are you thinking ahead about?
Let's just get there, because I don't have it all in my head yet. Fetch. All right. GCO dev server mob start 7. So like, can I do cargo run API? Does that your tracker API? Is that?
You need cargo run with the package flag.
-- package?
Yes. And right, that should run. That thing has one executable, I suppose.
Oh,
package
okay.
is one executable, so that should do it, right?
Okay.
Oh, or maybe it doesn't. There's more than one.
Package. Oh, this looks good. It's chugging along.
Okay.
And then this thing should pretty quickly crash, saying you haven't given me the config I need to run.
Yes.
And the missing
What does it
config
need?
is a Postgres server.
Can you show us the docs? Because I don't remember what because we need to provide all of the options.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can just follow the errors, right? Like, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Missing, and it's the database. So the way we would do this, we have this DB context helper. We could put that in our run API, and then turn around and invoke this after setting. Sorry, we'd use the DB context thing in our Rust code, set this in, and then invoke a subprocess, I guess, with this environment variable.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound reasonable to you?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we need to do.
Yeah. It's gonna be run API.rs, and it's gonna look a lot like this thing. So I'll start here. All right. Some imports, which I'm just gonna ignore. An async function main. Not really sure why, but it seems reasonable. DB context. That's great. That's what we want. And then we should be able to get a DB URL out of that, which we can. We don't need. We are going to need to migrate this thing to be able to start up the database. So this is reasonable. And then, oh, here's an interesting thing. This is feature creep, and we don't have to do this as part of this PR. But something that would be nice is if, when you run the API, you could then turn around and start a DB REPL connected to the same database, not connected to two different databases.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sounds like it might be useful, but I would wait until we need that.
Yep. I'm not even sure what'll happen if we tried to use these at the same time. Maybe they'd crash. Like,
no,
is there some?
There is nothing shared. Remember?
I don't remember where we put the files. Do we create a temp directory?
It's all temporary. It's all isolated.
Okay. Yep. I wasn't. I knew it was. Sorry, I just thought it was maybe in some get ignored folder somewhere. But I think you're right. We just create a temp dir somewhere in the OS temp space. All right. So we migrate. We get a thingy, and then the command we run is going to be something like cargo. It's this command, right? Cargo. What's the nicest way to pass a bunch of arguments here? Do I do args or something?
There's arg multiple times, or there's args passing in.
That's like a var args situation.
It's not a string. It'll be. Well, take a look at the type. You have tooling.
Okay. No, I don't. Don't know why I don't have any tooling. Do I have tooling now? Okay, things are happening. All right. And we need to set an environment variable on this thing. There we go. Nah, it does not like that.
It's probably into iterator. Probably a single argument that is into iterator, where the item S can be taken as refer.
This could be like a vec bang or something.
An array is also fine. What you did there. More correct, more optimal.
Got it.
Because it's static.
Great. That looks reasonable. And then we should be able to do like dot env. Okay. This will be we can probably maybe we can pull this from somewhere, but I don't know. This doesn't feel unreasonable. db Perl. Okay. That's the ticket. Util run API. Util run API.
One thought I have is that we might want to make this a fragile child.
I mean, given that we're blocking on it, there's probably no difference. But I'll let a note. Okay. PR tracker API port. Oh, this is exciting. Need to discuss configurable.
Temporary.
We could not allocate a port and allocate a temp file for a socket. That would be the least conflict prone way of doing it. Just need to be a string.
You might be confusing between this and the URL and the database. This is HTTP.
Yes. I'm not confused though. I still do mean a socket.
Can you do HTTP via socket?
Yeah, it's just TCP.
And what's the... I never entered into my browser address bar.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I don't know if that's possible. Can you curl a socket? Must be possible. Curl has -- Unix socket. And then Chrome. Then there's a hacker news. I wish browsers could do this. Curl has it. Too bad browsers don't. Bummer. Okay, well. Gonna carry a patch to Chrome in here that we can give people support for this. All right, curl localhost 8000. 8080. Whoops. Look at that. It works. We did it. Good job. I don't remember our API at all. API 0 main health check. We have a health check, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
API v1 health check. Boom. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very satisfying. I'll rotate over to you. That's a real bummer that you can't just open a socket in a web browser.
Maybe there's a browser that can.
Curl. That's all you need, Ben. Firefox.
In our case, we actually, the reason we want to do this is for the documentation, the API documentation, which is for a browser. You can't see what it looks like with Perl. Year-end reload. And menu. Oh, I have the menu util run API. Two compilations here. One is the tool itself, the other is the API. And it's good. API, what? API v1. Shit. That looked right. Cool. So to review all this, pull, migrate it, get the DB URL, I think we can inline this.
Sure.
Look, I made a keyboard shortcut for next reference.
But
Keyboard
different than
shortcut.
asterisk?
Yeah, because it's LSP.
Oh, I see. Cool.
Why cannot inline this? Maybe it knows that it cannot be inlined.
This is like a lifetime thing. It won't have a lifetime if we put it there.
Maybe. Looks fine. It returns a string. And the string will be moved into this, so it seems fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
What else?
Well, we got 2 comments here.
Should this be a fragile? Well, let's see what happens when we Control C this. It's not here. API is dead.
Good. Yeah. I think this is an issue for like things that are backgrounded. Where they won't receive the sig term.
I want to see the tree when it's running.
Yeah.
How do make this into a tree? Here. And API. Here's my systemd alacrity zish util run API.
Yep.
Run API.
Oh, so like the Postgres is a good example of something that is backgrounded.
You know what's interesting? That cargo is not here.
That makes sense, right? Because cargo probably execs. It does the
execs
build
it.
and then execs.
It would be wise to exec it, I suppose. It doesn't want to stick around.
Yeah. Whereas we can't just exec our API server because then we'll lose our, ownership of Postgres. Or our knowledge of Postgres, I should say.
But what is... Okay, so that bin is called run API. So this is... I don't really understand what this is then.
That should probably be doing an exec, and it's
let
not.
me bring in the
So
entire...
in our util.nix, that's the shell script that we wrote.
I want to see all the arguments.
I mean, we're not passing any arguments here, so I don't think this is going to be very interesting. But yeah, see how it's a bash process?
Bash. See how I cannot see the rest of it. This is not Nix friendly.
Yeah.
So this is bash running...
Cargo.
I don't know what.
Bash in our util.nix. That's where the bash process is.
Cargo.
Yeah.
Can I... Well, I can toggle, but then it doesn't keep my selection. It doesn't keep my selection because this is definitely not my selection. It was that?
Yep, that's the bash process.
That's
not great.
Less usable than what I want. I also want to see, I don't know, get like process widget, kill, sort, group, open, process, search widget, toggle, open, invert, toggle between values and percentages, toggle tree mode, collapse, expand, sort. Nope, I don't think there's any more feature. There's this. Kind of terrible.
Barely readable for me.
That's bash running a script. Our util run API script from the store. And then that runs the, whatever this is,
That ran
target.
cargo.
That's local. That's not store.
Our script ran cargo. Cargo did a build, and then it exec'd our process. So we just don't see the cargo.
Yes. And then this is Postgres that has a bunch of child processes or threads. And this is another child process, PR tracker API, which is local again, not store.
Yes, sir. Okay. Green. Ooh. All right. Do you want to add those execs?
What execs?
So those batch processes don't need to stick around. We could change this to exec.
That's unrelated, though.
Yeah. Yep, I understand. So we could do that as a follow-up.
I would do it earlier. Do it as a pre.
Okay. During reload, and let's try util SQLX prepare to confirm that this still works.
We should end up with no change from this SQLX prepare.
Well, we do have a bug where some types of changes can result in us kind of orphaning files in that SQLX directory.
Yes, we have an issue for that.
Okay. Yep, that worked. All right, chore.
Yes.
Check to avoid. Something like that.
Yeah, it should say that this is in the util, the dev utils.
Like that.
It's good enough.
Okay. Flake check. Go. Here we go. All right. Get push. Here we go. Nope. Dash dash rebase origin main. And I forgot to give you credit. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's not okay. I must fix it. There we go. All right. Get push. Origin head main. Oops. Sorry. I just rebased without trying a check. See how that goes. And while that flake check is going, I will do a git checkout of dev server. Mob starts 7. And now we can just put the exec in here. I'll do a mob done. Full rebase. Stash. Full rebase. Start. Push. Mob start. Pop. Pop next. Now we have earned the right to add an exec there. Make things consistent. Pop next. Something triggered.
You know what would be interesting? In a writer, instead of write shell application, for the case that you really do want to just exec a command with argument.
Yeah, this could be a pattern.
It's a wrapper, right? Run a command with arguments, that's a wrapper that execs, but using a system call, right? What's the end written package that does that? Not bash.
Oh,
but
you're saying
compiled.
This doesn't have to be bash.
Yes, it'll be compiled.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. I think, isn't there like a make wrapper in Nix packages that actually does build a binary or something funky like that? You stumbled across that? Am I just inventing something?
Not familiar.
Yeah. So I'm a little confused why I thought I was flake checking this thing.
What did you run?
Oh, did this bust my cache? Is that what this is? So I thought I was flake checking something that was just a change to Nix code, so I'm surprised to see Rust code recompiling. But then I'm going to take a look at this. What does this do? This changed the cargo lock. Okay. So that makes sense. This release busted my cache.
Which is not ideal because, but I think it's the version is in the.
Yep.
The version being in the cargo toml and in the cargo lock toml is that fact is actually obtainable by during the build process.
Yeah, I could imagine people bake the version in to their CLI so you can do -- version.
That's by default even with the
Default. Clap just is able to get its hands on the version.
Yeah, it
without you
adds
even
that
having to.
version flag by default, I think.
Yeah,
just
totally reasonable. But it does mean Nix is doing the right thing here, and that's just the consequences of us. We didn't even change any Rust code, but we got a new version number. So, oh well.
Sorry, it's getting warm here, so I gotta change.
Alrighty. I will share my screen so folks can see what I'm doing, I guess. Now, why is this not included in the module tree? Is that going to go away if I wait? Oh, and I'm not going to wait for that. Here we go. That is such a bummer. Does NumPy try to do anything here? Dev shell. Read time? I don't think this has support for anything like this.
I'm back.
Hello. All right. So
What's up?
my editor, there we go. All right. So I think we've confirmed we don't need to make this a fragile child. So I'm going to delete that comment if that's all right.
Yes, please.
Great. And then let's talk about this configurable question mark.
I think we should obtain some free port and use it. I think even that is a best effort thing, because
Yep.
there's still a race condition between the time the port was free.
Yep.
I think a more robust implementation would be a program that tells the system, "Hey, reserve a port for me," and then it'll be able to pass that to some other program.
Yeah. And there is a mechanism for that in the Unix socket API or Linux socket API, where you just say bind without specifying the port, I think. That would require us to change our application, I think. I don't think we could like grab the port and then hand it off. It would be something that our server would have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we could look into that. I might be misremembering.
Socket.
Not a socket. This would be like a give me a binding a port locally without actually specifying the port.
Well, in lieu of that, we can use a Rust library that gets an available port, and that gives us a better chance of that port still being available.
I would argue a better user experience here is for us to pick some default and then give people the option to override it. Because, as a user or as a developer, I'm probably going to be like in a development loop, make a change, run it, make a change, run it. And it would be nice if my web browser, I could just hit refresh, rather than like, oh, what's the new port? Or, even if we had it automatically open up the URL, that just, I'll get a list of more and more tabs, one for every time I make a change.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd argue for a little CLI parameter -- port or something.
So, yeah, works for me.
And we could default to, 8080 is a pretty common HTTP port for local development. Gonna teach me some clap?
Sure. Open up the clap derive. Well, I think the way it works is you make a struct.
Do I
First,
need
you
to
make sure
add
that we
clap
have the
here?
clap. Yeah.
Okay. Clap equals star.
That works.
I think
But
this is the first
isn't
time
it a workspace? Don't we have clap anywhere?
No, this is the first time. I don't think we've done anything with clap yet. Our API server just reads from environment variables.
Okay. So what we do is we create a struct.
Args.
Yes. I like calling it arg.
Yeah.
Or actually it's not it could be called CLI as well. And yes, that and I think port
Size.
should be a port type.
Okay, there's a port somewhere in.
I don't think there's one in stud,
Oh,
but there
okay.
should be one in crates.io.
Crates IO. There's a crate that just defines a type.
I don't remember. I remember there should be, but I don't remember its name.
What's the type of the variable here? Oh, we end up string interpolating it.
Well, if
Interesting.
it's a U16 somewhere, then maybe we should keep it a U16 everywhere.
Yeah. We wrote that here. Okay, let's do that. U16, comma. All right. And then this will be like.
Do you want this to be a positional argument or a flag?
Dash port? What do
If
you
it's
want?
optional, then maybe it should be a flag.
Yep.
So for all this stuff, I don't remember. We need to go to the clap derive because I would like to teach you how to use clap with derive instead of the builder pattern.
Is this something we need to, a feature we need?
This is not.
Stable doc. Is this just about the docs? The derive feature flag that we
What
need?
version did you reach? Latest?
Looks like the latest.
Square. I think you're in the right place.
Struct args. Short, long. Okay. Love it. Default value.
Short,
Like
long,
that.
default value. That looks right.
Parser. Okay. And I'm not gonna, this is not gonna work for me, right? I'm gonna need.
I wouldn't import parser. I would derive clap parser.
It's good. All right, and then this is probably, I need to add that missing feature.
Yes, I think the feature is derive.
Features equals derive. Astros. Okay. Here we go. Lovely.
And then
Do
you
you
can
have
use
opinions
this.
about this line of code here?
Long about, I think that this is generally just not necessary for us.
Yeah.
But we're not using it yet, are we?
Good point.
Struct, but we're not using
All right.
There.
But do you call it CLI or args here?
Here, the instantiated thing would be args, right?
Great. Args dot port. Gimme. Porty. Util run API. Failed to
Sorry,
select
what?
a version for the requirement. Clap derive equals blah. Okay. Candidate versions found which don't match. So something's saying a precise version of clap somewhere. Clap derive.
Could it be that clap derive at that version is not yet released? There was a problem releasing it?
Interesting theory. The clap is tightly coupled to the version of clap derive. Clap derive is a separate releasable artifact on crates.io. Yes, it is. 4.5.27. Looking for a 4.5.24. 4.5.24. Looks like it exists 14 hours ago. So the latest version being found by me is 4.5.18, which was 4 months ago. Bummer. Do I have like a crates.io cache that is borked?
My guess is as good as yours. You there, Jeremy?
Is there a cache in here? Did I get disconnected here? Hello. I don't know. The problem with, I don't know if this is Riverside. Like, you appeared to be frozen, but I wasn't sure if it was. Oh, I think in Jitsi, there will be situations where it, from my perspective, it looks like you dropped, and from your perspective, it looks like I dropped. Like there are these splits that occur. So I forgot we weren't using Jitsi, and so I just sort of assumed maybe I had gotten disconnected. So if I ran something like cargo cache clear at this point, what do you think would happen? Would that be? Where is my cargo cache?
Probably something like cache. Maybe it's cargo. Dot cargo at home. In home.
Okay.
Not following the spec.
All right. So I've renamed that directory. So let's see what happens now. Updating whatever.io. That's a sign. Hey, look at that. Looks like it worked.
Heck.
All right. Look at that. This is why only. Okay, I'm gonna nuke that. It was unless you think there's something useful in here to debug.
No.
Maybe one of our viewers is gonna care deeply. All right, I'll nuke it.
I'm not concerned.
Oh, this could be our chance to get a PR to cargo, man. Not gonna fight.
Well, you can leave it if you want. I don't know that we will ever reach that particular priority.
Okay, it's gone. RMRF. Goodbye. You know, I will say, I've been doing Nix for a little while now. I have never had to delete or deal with anything borked in my Nix store. But every other tool that I've ever used that does caching, at some point I have to clear the cache. I guess I don't need to sell you on Nix.
I've actually had to delete the store path, but
whoa!
I think I did it like on purpose. It's not because I had to, because I was experimenting.
Oh.
I wasn't sure how to do it properly. It failed to delete the. I thought I was sure I was executing the correct command to delete that store path, but it wouldn't do it. Anyway.
Okay. So this is, I'm gonna rotate. I'm next. Go for it.
But yeah, otherwise Nix works pretty well.
Solid foundation. Everyone else adds caching, as a performance afterthought.
So this won't work because there's no parse. We do need to import that, but it's a trait. So I just added it.
Okay.
And now this can be parser. I suppose that's why it's that way.
Okay.
And now this needs to be stringified.
Yes, it does.
Probably one way to do it. That looks like it's working. So let's go.
Do it.
Util run API. With help.
Ready.
But I don't think I don't think it'll get its arguments. We didn't pass.
Yes, I agree.
Arguments.
I think we need to thread that down.
Which I don't like.
Drill.
It shouldn't be So this is a program. That's what we want to have, right? So the util module, it's like using cargo for the benefit of avoiding the store.
Yep. At this point, you're in a dev shell. It'll be faster to not do things through the Nix sandbox, which is why we wrote it this way.
Do you want to go figure out whether there's like some kind of a generic wrapper, simple wrapper writer?
I feel like I've seen something that is like a make wrapper
Makes wrapper. Well,
that produces binaries.
make reference, make. Well, there's no make wrapper here. Next packages manual. Wrap program. Well, wrap program does produce a bash script, if I remember correctly.
If you Google Nix packages binary wrapper, I think it's the first result.
Next packages binary wrapper. Make binary wrapper. So there. So let me go to its packages and search for make binary equal. These are tests.
Okay. Interesting. These are tests of something called make binary wrapper.
Yeah.
Weird.
There it is. It takes a bunch of things to the end. And it also takes make binary wrapper. What is that? Oh, this is still the test. I'm sorry. So make binary wrapper should be in. So why didn't I find it? Make binary wrapper. Maybe it's by name or something. Is there a file? Make binary. These are tests.
By name. You were right.
I saw that file exists and is executable, but this is a shell script. I kind of want to see.
Yeah, but this is going to invoke GCC, right, to produce a binary.
Likely. I want to see how it's called. So can I? How do I bind a make? What's the problem here? Oh, compute is the problem. Spaces are the problem. Here. This is the package. So it's not a writer. I want a writer. It's a hook. It provides a setup hook. How does that help us?
Does it? Well, if we take a look at the
Test?
no, not the test. I mean maybe, but I was thinking the hook itself. We could see the function it defines.
You want to see the make message. You want to see this?
Yeah. So what function is this defining? Yeah. So make binary wrapper is a shell function you can invoke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I think we'd use this like with a run command or something.
That feels incomplete. Why isn't there just a writer that does this? Because all I want is a wrapper around
Yeah.
some other package
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
can provide the executable.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even care if it's binary, right? Like that's just a detail. It could be the make wrapper shell script.
No,
Sorry, the
I don't
make
care.
wrapper that produces a shell script wrapper.
I kind of happen to care. That would be a bonus, right? That would be the right way to do it. Make
Huh?
C wrapper.
Like you're saying from like a performance perspective, or
Yes.
I don't know. It's like the performance is not significant, right?
I suppose. Maybe if you're running this thing frequently.
Yeah. Which I mean, we won't. I think the reason this thing exists is because you can't like set UID on shell scripts or something. So it's nice to have wrappers that you can use set UID and other things for.
So if we understand all that context, close this and next it. What is reasonable for us to do in order to pass on the arguments? Do we do it ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lose any sleep over doing this. And then I guess this becomes double quotes or something nasty.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think this is quite that. I think you need in order to tell cargo to pass on the rest of this to you need a hyphen.
Makes sense. Okay. Okay, that didn't work.
Didn't it?
Looks like our thing is now executing. Also a little hard to tell because we don't print out a "Hey, the server has started up" message. But yeah, that didn't do what we wanted.
What do you expect to have happened?
Well, I passed -- help. Shouldn't clap have done something with that?
Yes, I think it should have.
Let me try this here. Yep.
What's the difference?
Uh-huh. I am surprised.
Try without exec.
Why am I not even seeing the Haya? Oh, is it because I need to reload the shell every time I make a change to this?
Oh boy. That might be the case.
There we go. Okay, so we wrote the right code. It just wasn't.
Good catch. Yes.
Okay, during reload.
Well, there is a way to specify what files DRM should reload on.
Yeah.
But ideally, we wouldn't have to.
Yep. All right. So, yep, that's the magic sauce right there. And, I mean, this is like me speaking as a Python developer. I'm like, man, this is, sure is nice for non-performance stuff to just be able to write scripts. But I don't know how people handle this in like how they build their tooling for Rust projects.
All right, this is good. So
Yep.
let's not like that's specified port, and then that's not specified port.
Boom. Great. Totally works. I do think it would be really nice to print a message. But if you want to call that
No,
a
yeah,
separate
let's print a
PR,
message. Why not? How the problem with printing messages we don't know that the server would have to do it. We don't have
yeah.
no signal from the server that it's running. So I think it's kind of a lie. Whatever we will be writing, it's a lie.
Well, I would propose that we have the server print it.
The server would do it.
I don't see any downside to that.
To stood air.
I guess. I don't know.
It's reasonable. It won't when you run it through system D. I think system D doesn't even listen to that. Like we won't even care about that stood air.
Really? I
Or
would
maybe
expect
it
that to
would,
get
but
logged.
it's not
It's not a problem.
a problem. It's not.
Let's do it then. So this is when we've found on a port, and then we're about to start up the server. So I guess we would do it somewhere right after we do the SD notify. Something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. That works for me if it works for you.
I want it to be a clickable URL.
That would be nice. So
we don't know.
That's not a Chrome's not going to do the right thing with that, is it?
What's the right thing?
Hey, that works.
Mm-hmm. Let's point it to health check.
Point what to health check?
The give it a path. Add a path to the URL so that it's a health check.
/API/v1/health check like that.
Yeah, but this is deep now. It's no source of truth. This is just hard coded.
Yeah.
Any way to obtain that?
Probably. Probably need this endpoint to do that. Let's move that down a little further. No reason not to wait as long as we can.
So that's the path.
Yeah. I don't understand
Make it a constant
what our
and
pointer would be here. Yeah. I mean, this feels kind of like arbitrary to me. The health check is actually even a little more confusing, a URL, because it doesn't show anything. Like it's just an empty page.
Well, then we could add a body.
Yeah, that might be nice. Okay, so do you want to do this here or separate PR?
Here is fine for me.
Okay, mob next. Go for it.
Especially since we no. So that's API endpoint This needs to turn into a constant. This can be renamed.
Health check path.
Check. And well, not here, but top of this perhaps. And then
Will that have to be pub?
Where are we using it?
In our main.rs.
And this is lib. So this would be, like we said, pub.
Actually, I mean, looking at this code, maybe we should move this into lib.
Move what into lib?
The print statement.
The print. Libs shouldn't print.
Oh, and also I don't think, never mind. I don't think it would even know the port that the server's listening on. So forget I said anything. Carry on.
Health. So health. It's not yet health check. Address. Port. Health check. It might not. Might add a manual here. So this is endpoints. So I think health. It's top crates. Won't do. Health check. This does.
Yeah.
Try it.
Sure.
Reload.
You did not need to do that, I think.
That's because that's just a program.
Or maybe you needed to do it because you hadn't pulled in the latest fix. But
For sanity, I needed to do it.
right. Failed to bind. Exciting.
Where do I have a running? What's the problem here? Maybe my user.
I think this is the SO reuse port thing.
What is that?
So I think Linux by default, when a process disappears without releasing a socket, it leaves the socket like unavailable for 30 seconds or something. I think if you wait 30 seconds and try again, this will work. And obviously that's, none of the development you've done. Or we're leaking something, but I think this is, like, you might be able to check with like SS to see if something has that port.
We don't have anything. SS?
SS space dash T tuliping, TULPN. If you're not with sudo, you'll get more information.
Is that necessary? You want me to grab this?
Sure.
Nothing. Should I still do that?
Worth a shot. Nothing. Okay. My hypothesis is after a minute or something, this will start working. But if you Google SO reuse port.
No. It says failed to bind. I did something wrong here. Failed to bind on what? This is
whoops.
not
You're
the right
right.
place to...
That doesn't go there. Okay, sorry. I'm an idiot. Pardon me.
That was me.
Well, I was watching you write the code. I just wasn't paying any attention. So we want to do that where we have our ePrintLN.
Which is where?
Maybe you did not mob start. Maybe mob started too soon.
Dash push. Let's start.
Yeah, there it is.
Dash pop. Is it better? Yeah.
All right, beautiful.
Bullshit. Oh.
Looks good. And then you want to change the health check to actually say something like, things are looking good here, sir.
Come up next here. About that, so, like it should not provide, the server should not respond with a body unless it's 200, right?
Oh, unless it's 200? That doesn't sound... No, it's always fine to have a body. It's totally orthogonal to status code.
Sorry, with a body that says it's okay.
I agree. Yeah, we shouldn't say it's okay and then return an HTTP 500. I agree.
Okay, show us the health check implementation.
Pretty simple. Wow.
It's handled by the DB connection, right?
Yeah, that's our only form of, I think, thing that can go wrong right now.
Okay. So now we add a body, and I think since this is the case, if something goes wrong, there will be no body.
Yep. Possibly this simple. That do something?
Well, the return type
Did a poem result?
Yeah. You can do static stir if that's a thing in poem.
Okay.
Emp, and then yes, single quote static. If that's the thing. Unnecessary wraps. This function's return value is necessarily wrapped in result. Further information, visit Clippy. I wonder. Poem doesn't seem to complain, but let's see.
Yeah. Let's see.
Look, 8080 by default.
Oh. Hey, that did it. Nice. Wow, poem, way to go. Made that easy on us.
It's almost like Python.
All good here. Now, what do you want to say?
Here is your 200, but in the body.
Like that?
Yes, and I hope this is not a lie. Is there any there's nothing that, like, only a 200 would result in this being even executed.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, if we bail out trying to dependency inject this thing in, we're not returning this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can confirm that.
No, it's obvious because you cannot call this function without its argument.
Is it sig stop? Well, that maybe even a that. Nope. Really? Hey, I got it to hang. Did we add a timeout?
Unlikely.
We did. I remember talking about this.
Yeah, we had a conversation.
Tool timed out, waiting for an open connection. Beautiful. Yeah, I remember this was one of the things that Rocket did for us. And I don't mind that we have to be explicit about it. Because it feels like it can be very application dependent what your tolerance is. Okay, I love it. I'm a happy man. Shall we merge?
Diffy-diff. What happened?
I forgot to start, I guess. Start dash pop. Next, here we get diff t dev server. Oh boy. All right, it's a lock file change, so that's noisy. Dependencies of clap, I guess. Clap itself, more clap stuff. Clap, clap, clap. Color choice seems plausible. That's a cute name. I wonder what that is. Is terminal polyfill? Totally makes sense that clap would care about things like that. No idea what that is. Stir some UTF-8 parse. Sure. That all smells reasonable to me. Health check path. Yep, just extracting a variable there. There's our success. There's our import. There's our startup. There's clap. And here's our little runner. It was very satisfying to build using all the helpful utilities that we've created. We're ready to create our own Rust web framework now, Shahar.
Nearly.
Migrate. Start the darn thing up. Yep. Lovely. And boom. There's probably a cool version of this where at compile time we are forced to specify all the environment variables, huh? Like these are documented in Rust code.
Sorry, what?
So when we were writing this, we didn't include any of these required parameters, and our code compiled. And then it crashed when the server tried to start up. And I'm saying, oh, well, that's not very. If I learned anything about the Rust community from working with you, if there's something that can get turned from a runtime error into a compile time error, people will move mountains to make it happen. And I'm saying, oh, I think we could probably actually do that here, right? Like there's a struct we define somewhere that defines what these thingies are. We could probably like hydrate one of those structs and then serialize out all its pieces as environment variables or something.
That's correct.
It feels like
we already had the struct.
We already had the struct?
We already have the struct. The struct itself, it's a struct with these fields as names, these as fields. So that,
I guess it'll introduce a weird dependency. Like util will now start depending on API, like the crate smells odd.
Well, it's not it's API config. There's a crate for that.
Oh, okay. API config. Anyways, I said that mostly as an idea and not because I'm saying I want to do it, but how do you feel?
It's a nice to have.
Yeah, let's not do it.
We could pass.
Yeah.
Pass on that.
All right, then this looks good. So I'm gonna do a mob done.
Yes.
Git commit.
This is great progress because dev server, API dev server allows us to now add the OpenAPI
Your add
API dev server.
On API.
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. This is gonna take a minute. Maybe I'll do a git push and let you do it.
It lives in dev server now, which I can mod clean and git that hard upstream. Next flight check. Next flight check and git switch main and git merge the server. Fast forward only in case there's trouble. Git push. And git push deletes origin dev server and git branch delete the local dev server. I don't know why it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. Next step. Again, Open API. What's it called? What we were Poem Open API.
I don't remember. I think Poem has core support for OpenAPI, or at least it's like linked to from the README.
And we have a branch for that. I suppose we made progress on that. Let's see how well it rebases.
Yeah. That was probably mostly Rust code, and we haven't touched a lot of Rust code, so hopefully it will rebase nicely.
What did we choose to the OpenAPI browser? What's it called? Swagger?
I think Swagger's one of them. I mean, I think
we
we were
chose
like,
that.
we were confronted with that choice, and then we said, oh, it sure would be nice to play with it.
Exactly.
And here we are 4 months later.
Only 4 months later. Don't you forget how many rabbit holes we did not go into.
For sure. We could be fixing a bug in Crane's Cargo's caching logic right now. No, we wouldn't be fixing the bug. We'd be Trying to understand the caching logic and then trying to reason through how mine got corrupted. And then we'd probably give up. So yeah, I think we could look at the Poem OpenAPI docs while we're waiting for this to sort of refresh our brain on this.
We have a branch that already has it all implemented.
Mhm.
Mostly implemented. We just and then we said we just want to see it. We just want to see the Swagger.
Yeah, that sounds right.
We could take a look at the changes in that branch, but I don't want to do a git switch because that's part of the
All right, I'll share.
chain here. Here's API
You want to rotate
building.
over to me?
That's possible.
Boom. All right, GP, git checkout, OpenAPI probably.
Show us the remote branches.
Okay. G-R.
I think
I'm gonna do
MIT is
There's a lot more there
is
than I would have
is
expected.
done.
Okay.
MIT and dev server are done.
Those two.
Yes. Add server playground script seems like something we just did. That's the dev server as well.
Nothing ever landed in there. Guess we were starting to work on that, and we get distracted.
It's the mob one which you should be logging.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
It has one mob next to something.
See how brilliant it was. Hey, did we come up with the same name again? Util run API. Go us. All right. I think we can delete that. Mob / add server playground trip. GP-R.
I saw you not inserting. I saw you kind of giving up on the rest of the branch name.
Not inserting.
That edit you just did
Yes.
in your line.
This thing?
You wanted to insert mob /, right? But I saw you typing the whole thing again from that
Here I
point.
was. Then I don't remember. I did.
But you can insert, right? Like this is Vim mode for you.
I don't use Vim mode. This is just readline Emacs, whatever you. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I can insert.
You can.
I think. Well, what I probably did was I wanted auto completion. So I probably killed this and then did mob.
Yep.
Or something.
Yeah,
That might have been it.
seemed like it.
Okay. Yeah. So that was just me. I didn't want to have a typo.
Does Fish not have Vim line editing?
It might. I've just never been a Vim shell person. So I'm just, I don't know. It might be awesome. I just have never tried it.
I recommend it especially if Fish Home Manager Fish has the option to just enable that.
Yeah.
even if it doesn't. If that can be enabled easily, just go for it.
Yeah, I've oh man, that'll be
It's a low-hanging fruit.
Well, fruit's an
No?
interesting word. Fruit is like this'll be a learning curve for me. I'm like my brain has been, doing terminal stuff assuming Emacs shortcuts for a long time. But yeah, I just have never tried it. But if you're a fan, I could give it a shot. Is it really Vim or is it just Vim like?
It's probably Vim-like. I don't think it has anything it's not using
Right.
Vim.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just whatever Fish felt like, or Zeesh or Bash felt like implementing. I mean, I when I need to do something more interesting, I do the keyboard shortcut that drops you. You know about those sorts of tricks, right?
No, I never did such a thing.
Like ls foo bar, and then here I am, and it drops you into real Vim to edit your command.
That's interesting. I never did that.
It's nice for multi-line stuff, and I need to do some more interesting manipulation of the command or something.
Can you send me a line with that in your config?
It should be baked in. I think for Zeesh it's Control X E or Control X Control E. I don't think you have to turn it on or anything.
No.
Really? Let me try.
Not those two.
You're using Zeesh, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, it's what is it? Show keys. Does that work? That's not a thing. Okay, whatever. Control. So I hold Control. I do X E, and then that pops up.
No.
Huh. Oh, but you're in Vim mode.
I'm in Vim mode.
Okay. Well.
Maybe I don't need it.
Yeah.
Because I can edit multi-line stuff. But I cannot drop a line with enter without... If I want to drop a line, I need to use... Well, that makes sense, right? That I need to use backslash.
I don't know what this thing's called. Vim readline mode.
No, the multi-line support is not great at all. Like, I can't even go up a line. So I can't go up a line.
Okay. Well, this thing must be lying. How do I enter Vim mode in Zeesh?
I think you see it there in the example.
Oh gosh.
In the
How do you know
browser.
if you're in insert mode?
There's no indicator for that.
Oh man. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't work. Maybe you just don't get that feature in Vim mode. I think this thing's just lying. God.
Yeah, Control X, Control E sounds like of Emacs.
Yeah. Edit command line. Oh, maybe you can create your own. I don't know why this takes 4 lines of code. So if I do all this. Hey! That works. That might be nice for you. So yeah, you can bind it, but maybe there isn't a default binding.
Cool.
I'll share that with you if you ever want
Yes,
to try it
please,
out.
but in Matrix, if you don't mind. Chat is...
Yep. I am taking advantage of my second monitor to not share my matrix with the world right now. Okay. Have fun with that.
Thank you.
Let me know what keyboard shortcut you pick.
It would be interesting if my editor is Neovide and then I edit in a GUI what is executed in the terminal. But I
Oh
don't think my
gosh.
editor is Neovide. I think it's Neovim.
Got it. Yeah. Then that'll probably work okay. All right, I'm gonna rebase the OpenAPI branch and then I'll rotate over to you.
Go ahead.
All right. Did our stuff land?
Did land? What land? My Maniflect check?
You were being human CI, weren't you?
Yes, except that I seem to have failed to delete some remote branch, maybe because you did.
Plausible. Dash rebase dash mob start.
Yeah, push.
Dash pop. Okay. All right, I'll just store the cargo lock.
I think you need to reset it. Oh, with save. Oh.
Okay, and then got some other changes to look at here. Cargo toml. What's going on here? Nothing. Oh, API cargo toml. All right. Poem makes sense, and Poem OpenAPI. What did we change here? Why the conflict? Did we drop Poem? Oh, we've sorted. I see. So Poem's up there now. All right. So we'll put this Poem OpenAPI right next to it. That look good?
This is enforced.
Oh, okay,
By
great.
next
So
week.
something will do that for us. Great. All right, and then API circ lib. Hey, look at us. Wonderful.
What?
I see evidence of us working on exciting stuff here. The OpenAPI docs.
Yes.
Health check path makes sense that would still be around. Okay, we got to rework this a bit. So health check path.
I think just accept upstream, and then we can redo the health check path manually.
Well, which one's upstream? This one, or this one?
It says updated upstream.
That's the thing you and I just did.
Sorry, then I didn't mean upstream. I meant accept incoming, because upstream is easy to read to re-implement.
Yeah. So this is the incoming thing right here.
Yeah, just accept that.
Yeah. Great. All right, and then we got a health check, which got moved up here. So I'll reapply the same thing. Boom. Boom, boom.
Good.
Then that's it for those conflicts, I believe. Not sure if we need this derive on branch. I don't know. Can you tell what derive should be there? Probably
The
this one.
incoming,
New type.
the stash changes. Just accept the stash changes.
Okay, great. Boom. Okay, I think that's it. Our remaining conflicts are just to-dos. I'll do them up next.
Yeah.
No, git, mob next.
Next.
Git add, I guess, to mark those, and then mob next. Okay. And I'll rotate to you.
Are you ready to witness the swagger?
Show me what you got.
Okay, so switch to main, and I think that's switch. Let me see what. Oh, let me see what I have here. Mob clean.
It also might be worth doing a nix funt in case you were right about that cargo toml formatting.
Yeah, we have a commit hook for that.
Okay.
So dev server is gone. Delete that. Both of them. We have here. Modular dev shell, that's been done.
Our dev shell is
the
so
origin
modular.
modular dev shell. What more do we have? I don't know what impure test configuration is,
That does not ring a bell.
but I think source filtering is done. Push the origin dev server. Use nix funt. That's done.
Yeah.
Bump NCI, update flake lock action. I don't know what that is. I'm going to remove it. Oh, maybe that's the one that is used to actually update the flake lock. Is it? Do we have a PR open with bumping of inputs? We should, yeah, we should have one open because it should be failing, and it
That makes
must be
sense.
it.
Yeah.
Dev shell commands. I don't think
We did
that's
that.
anything useful. And I have a local modular dev shell. Impure test configuration. I don't know what that is.
Well, I remember what impure tests are now. It's those tests that test the GitHub API. I think we were going to add a like pound CFG to compile them out or something. I can't remember what was motivating that change.
Well, but it's in, right?
Yeah, it must have, maybe it was like to make NCI happy because it was running all the tests or trying to run all the tests.
The configuration. And except play config, don't need that. Now we are left with very few. One of them is OpenAPI. That's where I'm going.
Alrighty.
Pull this. I'll start it. You want to see the diff now? I think it's a non-trivial diff. Some cargo log things. More cargo log things. More cargo log things. Cargo toml. Hey, from experience, cargo toml is usually right after cargo log.
Makes sense.
Palm Open API, some import changes. Palm Open API. Open API service. This is in where exactly? Creates API source lib. That's probably the endpoint function.
Yep.
Service, API service, new API. Those, whatever name and version, perhaps, whatever that is. There's to do there, so that's fine. And then server, there's a to do there because we have to figure out where this. It needs to kind of document where it's hosted, where it's deployed.
Yeah, that
Needs
sounds
to
right.
know where it's deployed, right? That
Yep.
seems like a new configuration option. Let UI equals API service Swagger UI. So we have that UI handler, I suppose. And then this is the API service, and then nesting under doc Swagger, there's the UI. So we could take a look at this. And this is commented out somehow.
Well, that was just the old code.
The old code.
Like on the left.
Yeah, I suppose that can be deleted. Let's do that. Oopsie. I'm deleting this because we have that, right? It's the API. Closing
Yep.
that. It's the API service.
But we should deal with
API
that.
struct.
We should deal with that constant we created before we forget, because nothing's going to remind us.
Okay. Well, here these are gone, and then health check. But now
Yeah, now it's tricky.
it's a little bit different.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know this is introspectable because it must be getting introspected by in order to generate the OpenAPI docs.
Oh, you think now we don't need a constant? We can
it
obtain?
must be, right? Like they're able to generate the docs. We should be able to get our hands on that somehow.
Yes, I suppose. My first thought, I nexted.
Right?
My first thought is that it might not be a stable API because it's an API that is meant to be used by a macro expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those are not considered stable, but
okay.
It's just a thought.
Well, did you have a different idea?
No. That I think it's a good idea. If it's introspectable now, let's try to dig into it. Obtain the.
Oh, are you saying it might not be because they might be doing it in a way where we don't have permission to do whatever they're doing?
There's no such thing. A macro simply substitutes code in your context. So whatever the macro can do, you can do.
How do I expand this macro? You've taught me this before.
Rust expand macro or something.
Where do I put my cursor?
I think that's fine.
Expand?
Rust macro expand?
Rusts. I mean, Rust expand looked potentially promising, but I don't have a Rust C command. Do I just have to be in a context where I have a Rust C to do this?
Why wouldn't you have a Rust C?
Well, I think my cargo gets its hands. Oh, wait. No. Duran Valau. Sorry. How bad. Okay. Uh-oh. Cowardly refusing to install hooks. What's this value I've got set? Or.hooks path is set to .get/hooks. That's not an interesting value for it to be, right? Now
Does
it's
this
gone.
mean it's explicit?
It's like it.
Your Git is not home manager?
No. Maybe it should be. I don't know. I haven't taken the dive into Home Manager yet. Okay. What am I doing? Why does this not compile? I guess we should get our code compiling first.
Yeah.
Before I try to
code compiling.
expand any macros. All right. What do we got? From the top. Unused import.
I would
That's
prefer
actually
a
unused.
full screen editor with this on this resolution.
Sure.
And then we get the errors in the editor, etc.
All right. Well, the trait blah is not satisfied. Other types implement trait. Oh, open API. Thanks.
What? Why is there an is not satisfied trait? Oh, I think Swagger UI takes self as a reference, and self needs to implement OpenAPI. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, T, where T is OpenAPI. So API service doesn't implement OpenAPI for some reason. So let's go there.
No, are you off by a little? Because I'm reading this as OpenAPI service has a T, which implements OpenAPI. Isn't it the T that we're talking about?
The function Swagger UI is is this inherent? What is the type of API service?
It's right here. OpenAPI service API unit.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not a trait method, it's an inherent method. And the inherent method is complaining that the trait OpenAPI is not implemented for T.
Yeah, exactly. So
What
that's
is
this
T?
thing, API.
Okay, where is API from? It's the argument, line 26.
This thing is expected to implement the trait.
Go to the
OpenAPI.
definition of that. So if there's a compilation error in line 83.
Oh yeah? Good eye.
I think line 63 is what generates the implementation of OpenAPI.
Got it.
So what's the problem there?
Invalid param definition.
It's a macro OAI, right? And line 81.
Okay.
So this is not a normal syntax function. It's like a special syntax. And that error comes from the macro implementation, I suppose.
Okay. So do I just need to write this more like this? Because this one up above looks happy.
Let's try that.
Okay, and I'm not surprised it's not happy with this. That totally makes sense, because it's got to be something that OpenAPI can understand, right?
Right.
Some string payload, maybe. Actually, yeah, well, who knows? Sure. No. Well, that'll be interesting. I'll rotate. I'm next. Go for it. I don't think I've ever seen an OpenAPI specification that says this API endpoint just returns an unstructured string. Like, isn't OpenAPI assuming you're dealing with JSON?
I bet it's so widely used that I find it hard to believe that there won't be some.
Yeah.
Or we make it JSON.
Yeah, we could make it JSON. Doesn't seem
if
crazy.
we're forced to. But this is for people. It's like sorry, this is combined, right? This is a hybrid.
Yep.
200 for machines and a body for people.
Yep.
There must be a way to express that.
Where
do we get like documentation for how to express any of these? That would be
Poem OpenAPI.
Poem OpenAPI, README. It says docs here. Quick start. Plain text. There it is.
Lovely.
Payload plain text.
Too easy, huh?
Of what now? Of
the exact same thing we had.
Static.
Love it.
Now this needs to actually return that. Let's see what the docs say about that. Yep, exactly.
Easy peasy.
No way. Look at that.
Love it. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Remove this mute. And we don't use the connection, so do this. That's pretty cool. Okay, we have one error, and it's this.
Okay.
Whatever that is. No field nullable on type. Like nullable doesn't sound like it's a thing from Rust, does it?
I don't know.
No field nullable on type Poem API registry meta schema unknown field. I don't think we have written any nullable. Obviously, we don't know what this is about.
Yeah,
but somehow it's from the derive, right? So I think we could like Rust expand macro Rust macro unrecognized option pretty. Seems to be a mismatch, some kind of a Rust. Rust LSP expand macro expand macro. Paching. Here it is. You read it here, folks.
Yeah.
First, folks. And so nullable is this.
I
On the type meta schema, there is no field nullable.
okay. Yep. That matches the error. Right? Is this like a bug? What have we done that influences the fields on meta schema?
Yeah, nothing, did we? What is even something that's not like our problem here? I find it difficult to believe that we did something wrong that caused it, but
Yeah.
I could try bumping OpenAPI all those packages.
Didn't we? We restored the
Just
lock file.
oh, and we have asterisks.
Yeah. I mean, worth a shot, but I think we're probably on the latest version.
Well, so no field nullable. That's poem, and this is OpenAPI. Where's yeah, must be. So poem OpenAPI file. No field nullable. Issues. Stone generating specific if arc RC field is in structure. I don't think nullable is here. Yeah, no. I want to see that error.
There a separate repo for Poem OpenAPI?
Wait, didn't I? Sorry.
This doesn't look like it. This is 4 years old.
Okay. Then I think
Okay, it's part of this repo.
It's in here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I didn't find it. We didn't find anything that has, no, even just the null issues 5. No, I don't think it's here. There's a discussion.
So then that metadata type that we're looking at, is that like a dynamic thing, or is it a hard-coded like there's some pound define that determines whether or not the nullable field is there and we just don't have the right feature enabled?
Speculation. I'll be right back to speculate with you.
Okay. Lib 97. That's annoying. Hello.
Hey,
So I'm not able to expand. What am I doing wrong?
it's
If I do Rust,
Rust LSP with the argument something expand macro. It's completion for this.
I would have never gotten there. No macro under cursor. Where's my cursor supposed to be?
Maybe the particular trait they're trying to derive.
Okay. Great. All right. And nullable comes from meta schema any. I don't have types here.
Nope, there's nothing.
All right. Git grep meta schema. Wait, name rigid. Wow. This is some macro code here. Wow. This shows up all over the place. Their nullable does as well.
So you're exploring?
I was hoping to get my hands on. I'd love to just see this type definition, but
Any is probably a variant, and meta schema is probably a
okay. Go.
Nope.
Yep. Okay. Pub const any self equals meta
It's an
schema.
associated const.
Okay, great. Nullable. There it is, right there. It exists. Very much there. It got added November, well, last touched. Nullable got added. Okay, when did this land?
Do we have mismatched versions for Poem and Poem API? Or something like that?
If I'm reading this correctly, it hasn't been released. Or they don't do tags for releases. I like your question about mismatched versions. The latest tag is 2.0. Their latest release is 2022? Okay. No. So they just aren't doing tags or anything for releases, huh?
I suppose.
That makes that annoying. Okay.
Not even tags?
I mean,
Who said it's not tags?
oh, I see. They switched to a poly repo. Okay. Makes sense. Poem open API at.
There's also Poem Open API derive, which we are using.
Yeah. But where's this? This line of code that we're looking at is in Poem Open API.
Version 2 is alpha.
Yeah. What version are we on here? Poem Open API. Cargo TOML. They're up to 5.1.5. So if I just search for 5.1.5, no, I think they're not tagging anymore.
But it's a monorepo.
Yeah. And so it looks like they were doing like a tagging scheme. Maybe this was reserved for their, I don't know, top level poem grade or something. But it seems like it all stopped time around the 2.0 release. That's the last release here and the latest tags. Fortunate.
Okay, so they give up on tagging.
Yeah, or broken. They didn't realize. But yeah, like this one right here, if anything was going to have the tag, it would be this one, right? And it does not. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I do like your theory about things being out of sync, though. I'll rotate over to you.
Well, let's see. How do we get to see our versions? Cargo 3. Cargo this. Cargo.
Cargo command not found.
Reload. Tree. Here's a tree. Well, this is a dependency of form open API.
Yep.
That's it. Form open API derived, and that's it. And
Are those the latest versions of both of them?
Cargo tree. Poem 311. Poem drive 310. Poem open API 503. For the question whether it's the latest version or not, we could do cargo updated. Failed. That's not supposed to happen.
I guess they dropped a feature that we depend on.
Who dropped the feature that
Request?
The package PR tracker fetcher depends on request with features Russell's. So request does not have these. How can this, what?
Wouldn't that happen if we said, hey, we want request with Russell's, and then the latest version of request doesn't have that feature?
But when did we make that change? Where is that change? What do you?
Do we not depend on request? Like, is that a transitive dependency?
I don't know, but like, so there should, okay.
Like, is there just a line in a cargo toml somewhere that says we want request with such and such feature?
Firstly,
okay, yeah, there. That's what I'm talking about. That line of code seems like it could result in the error we're seeing if they drop this feature.
But when was this bumped?
They're trying to look for outdated things, right? And so they're saying, okay, I'm going to see what the latest version of this thing is.
Oh.
And can't find the latest version of it because there is no package that has this feature.
Bad UX in cargo outdated?
Sure. Yeah. We call it bad UX, yeah. I mean, I'm making a wild ass guess. I don't know if request actually dropped that feature.
Yeah, it's actually likely. There's this. It has an optional dependency with that name, but that dependency uses the dep colon syntax in the features table, so it does not have an implicit feature with that. We could try bumping our log file.
I can't remember. Do we have a system that automatically relocks and pulls in? Okay. So this stuff could be pretty old at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe let's go to main and lock and see how broken things are.
Lock and load.
Yeah.
Bump plus there's start. We'll get into trouble pretty soon here.
You're sure this will cause issues?
There will be some breaking changes in that, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
Bring it
cargo
on.
updated here
Same thing.
gives us this.
Totally reasonable.
And cargo update, I don't know how to use it.
We just want cargo update, right?
But do you remember that we can't? This doesn't go past major.
I do not remember that. No.
It doesn't. This does not cause breaking version changes. So if I do a git diff now,
I'm very probably misremembering, but I feel like we had this conversation. Yeah, no, like look, Adler 1 to 2. Oh no, Adler 2. That's a completely different dependency. How sure are you about that?
this is breaking.
Okay, great. So I think, isn't it only it doesn't do the breaking changes if you've got those semver specifiers, but we don't have those anymore? Like, I thought it was just
Look,
cargo.
this is not a direct dependency, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't count.
Sure. But I do remember talking about this, and my recollection was that it behaves just like the Python tooling I'm familiar with, which is it just updates to the latest version of everything, obeying the specifiers that you wrote in your cargo toml files.
Except that I remember you being not satisfied with the fact that it doesn't.
And I was wrong about
even
that?
though we had asterisk.
See, I remember a different conclusion. I remember us trying this and me being like, yeah, this worked the way I would have expected.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I was annoyed because you told me and then we tried and it worked the way I expected. Or it was so long ago. I just don't remember. But can you find a direct dependency that had a major? That would be
I can git restore and probably rotate now.
Yeah.
And I will restore this. Okay. I think what we can do is because cargo outdated is so useful, it'll tell us exactly, identify. We need to identify like one package that is at the root. There's a root dependency, and see where that is outdated in a major way, in a breaking way, and then see whether we can get cargo update to bump it to that breaking update.
What's our branch here? Not gonna be here.
Bump
steps. Well, I mean, on the flip side, if we just do the cargo lock command and look at the diff, if any of our direct dependencies bump majors, then we know this thing is willing to bump majors.
Yeah, I guess that would be an easy manual way to scan for that.
I just don't know if that's going to be a lot or not. But cargo lock, never mind.
So it's cargo update, but look at the flags again, please, because it might not. So you see B with a breaking flag?
Update spec. We're not specifying a spec.
Right, the default spec is everything, I suppose.
Well, okay, here. Let me do a cargo update with no breaking. Okay, and then I'll do get add, and then I'll just run it again. That won't do anything, right? No change. And then I'll do a dash dash help and a dash b. Okay, maybe not. Is there a way to make that happen, or is that a bad idea? Dash z?
We need a different cargo.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right, that's fine. Let's take a look at what changed. So we want to find one of our direct dependencies.
Yep. So select. There's two. That list is too long. We should take a look at the list of direct dependencies and try to search for one.
How would you even look at the list of direct dependencies?
We have several cargo toml files. Here,
Yeah.
workspace dependencies. Anyhow, it's a bit less likely to have a breaking change because it's so popular.
Peak. Is that a breaking change?
It is.
Okay. So, does that mean you're misremembering? And I am remembering that this works just like poetry and other tools? NPM and everyone else?
Well, things might have changed, so I'm not sure about whether we should confirm about our memories.
Sure.
But rather to what the reality is currently with this version of cargo. But also, I would like to see whether, because this is considered breaking because the major is 0. I kind of want to see, and that's in the December spec, and I don't like it at all. Like I never want to. I think it's like was never a good idea.
All right, we'll
I
keep
want to see
looking.
one where it's not 0.
Nope.
30 is a feature in many other grades.
Nope. File. This error.
We have 2 this errors. We have 1.
That's why the version is being specific. So somebody
I think so.
feels opinionated about the version of this error.
Well, yeah, because most crates don't do this asterisk business.
But here you go. We depend directly on this error.
Yes, hold on. But that doesn't mean that this is our direct dependency.
Okay.
Right? It is in the log file, right? It is somewhere in the dependency tree.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we know whether this is the one that we would import if we do use this error? Cargo tree.
Whoa. Okay, that downloaded stuff for some reason.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. This error.
Yeah, see.
Yep.
That's under something. Where's the top one?
There we go. That's us.
Cool.
Yeah. So this behaves like every other package manager.
I still don't know that this was 1 before we did cargo update.
We know that it was because we see it in the diff here.
There was a this error version 1, but maybe it wasn't this. Maybe this was already 2.
Okay, well that's also easy to confirm, right? Like we can just get mob next, GCM, cargo tree, this error. Yeah, there you go.
Good, excellent. I like that.
Just like every other package manager. All right.
So what's the breaking flag for?
That's probably to be willing to violate the human specified stuff in the TOML file.
No way.
I don't know. That would be my guess.
The word violate is not commonly used in the list of desired attributes of the Rust
I mean,
jargon.
maybe if you do -- breaking, it'll edit the TOML file. So not create an inconsistency between the TOML file and the log file.
I'd be willing to buy that. That sounds like a good feature. Okay.
Yep. And
So,
if that were stable, then like my whole argument about always using asterisks might be a little less well, I would just say you should always run cargo update -- breaking and see what happens. But effectively, by using asterisks, we're getting the -- breaking behavior.
correct.
Okay, so cargo check. See what happens.
Oh, also notice that we have a pinned version because it's beta.
Pinned version. Oh yeah, look at
Derive
that.
more.
Maybe we can drop that. That would be nice to get rid of. Good eye. What would that be? Crates.io.
Just search.
Radio. Derive more. Are you stable? Yes, you are. Beauty. Oh, see, now that's an example of something that surprises me. Here, when I press enter, it selects the string including the quotation marks.
Enter. What the heck is enter?
Enter
I
is
didn't
my
know that enter selects anything.
It doesn't. That's a thing I turned on. It's like the tree sitter, grab the next scope up.
Oh,
thingy.
right. I remember now that yeah. That's nice. That's really nice. You do that with enter in visual mode?
Yes.
And what, backspace for, what do you do?
Yeah. Although I really wanted it to be shift enter, but I have to that's a whole adventure with terminal emulators to get shift enter to do something different from enter.
Arguably, it seems nicer than what I have set up, where I see letters and I need to start typing them.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if you're still getting used to it, but it feels and that's why I've never been big on having line numbers turned on in Vim. I don't want to have to look for the thing that I'm gonna type to get to where I'm going. I want to I don't know. I just want to know if possible, and if I don't know, then I just want to guess and see if I got close. So this enter and backspace thing kind of aligns nicely with the just sort of guess and see if it gets me where I want to go.
I'm pretty sure it's also better for the viewer.
Oh, maybe.
Could you link me that, please?
Of course. Oh boy. Keys. I don't know where to put things like this. Tree, sitter, incremental selection. Wow. You should be very impressed at me that it did not take me 5 minutes to find that. I'll send that to you over whatchamacallit.
2 hours ago, what we reported that all features provided twice was fixed.
All features provided twice.
Mixed cargo integration.
Oh. Cool. Way to go use Dakra.
Quote unquote should be fixed.
All right. Well, we can see how things go here in this branch if we're lucky. Maybe
That looks
this will all
like you
just
ran
work.
cargo test or something.
Yeah, I'm running cargo test right.
That's nice. Well, that's fine. Cargo test includes the impure test.
Okay. Those will probably fail for me.
Why
But I
would
figured
they
cargo.
fail?
I don't know that I have the right. I don't think I have a valid API token in my
Mhm.
environment variables right now.
Okay, you want to rotate this?
Sure.
I'll do the next click check as well.
Go for it.
Wait, why is it? Why are we not equals here?
Why are we not equals?
What do you see? Do you see like me large and you small?
I do.
Oh, I see the inverse. So I think this does not, apply to the. Doesn't matter much anyway.
Cargo test passed.
That was quick.
Thus, proving my point that Semver is stupid and you should just always update everything because a breaking change doesn't necessarily affect you.
Doesn't necessarily affect you in a way that you. Okay, no, we had that conversation.
Yeah. Right? We just did some breaking changes. We pulled in some breaking changes. But did it break anything? No.
Nothing that you cared enough to test for.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's possible something broke. And I welcome learning about that and, adding a test if somebody manages to break it in a way that we didn't test for.
So now that we have bomb trust deaths somehow, what about that cargo outdated?
Yeah, why didn't it complain about, is cargo's dependency resolution thing smart enough to say, like, I'm only going to pull in the latest version of request that has this feature? And so we've effectively pinned request.
Maybe cargo outdated now would still say the same thing, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
so fine. I mean, so let's see what we have as examine cargo tree for request, right?
Yep. That's different.
One of them seems to
012
be
is the one
nested
that it
under
said it was.
GraphQL client. It's not us.
We also
Another
depend on it
one
directly.
here. This is root.
Yeah.
So 01127. This is, and you saying this is not the most recent request, right?
We even saw that in the error
You saw.
message, right? It was like 012 something.
Okay. So what your theory sounds right, that it avoids the bump. And here are the feature flags. So how do we do Russell's now? Maybe that's the default. Did you hear about like how much faster Russell's is than what's it, OpenSSL?
SSL? OpenSSL? No, I don't know anything about that.
Much faster.
Doesn't Russell's use C code under the hood or something?
Russell's. No, that's the point. That is the point, my friend.
Okay.
It's OG. um, go. Where does it say? Hey, this is much faster. Benchmarks. I don't know. These are like benchmarks. That's not comparison. There's something here about comparing against OpenSSL. All right. Show me the results. See the results of December. This is a year ago. I want to see more recent results. Anyway, it crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. That's not a
Good for
number,
them.
but okay. So what do we need to do now to
But it
configure?
is a mix of C and Rust under the hood, right? This AWS. Sorry, I clicked through. But in their README, they say this uses something under the hood and that something under the hood uses C.
Oh, I don't want. Oh, I don't like that. Fine. Here.
All right.
Russell's TLS enables TLS functionality provided by Russell, equivalent to Russell's TLS Web PKI routes.
Oh, so they just renamed it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in the same branch, we will do Russell's TLS. That might work. Now we need to do another cargo. I can stop this and click check now. Cargo update. And I should even see the diff. Well, it'll say
Where's request?
023. Oh, that's not
Request
that's
is
Russell,
012.
that's
That looks good.
request.
Nice.
Cool. What other surprises do we have here?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's annoying that features can effectively implicitly pin something.
Yep.
So I guess cargo outdated is the tool to find that stuff.
It's not meant to be.
Well, it would still tell us if it was outdated.
It would still,
like if they fixed
yeah,
the bug.
that's right. No, you're right.
So it's still the tool,
But
I guess.
there you go. But wait, cargo outdated might not be that smart. There's depth. Defaults to all the. Okay, this is
Nice.
good.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. So
we are completely bumped at this moment.
And do you think they're making an effort to only tell us about outdated dependencies that we can actually fix? Like,
no.
Oh, interesting. So what you're saying is we have a pretty healthy set of dependencies, like they themselves are not pinning things in ways that are outdated. No, that can't be true because we saw we have multiple versions of some stuff. Right?
Yeah, you're right about that.
So
but the
cargo
depth
outdated
says
must be
all dependencies.
I think it's probably trying to restrict to things that are actionable.
Wait, what about workspace?
Okay. All right. Good question. But right, if everything were truly up to date, we would not have dual versions of anything.
That's correct.
And I don't blame them for implementing it this way because npm outdated or whatever, or npm vulnerabilities, whatever that command is, the day they added that, it was absolutely useless for everyone and has remained completely useless because it just told you about all these things you had no control over. Because it was like your transitive dependency had some pin upper version bound.
Sure, but that's just a default possibly. There must be a way to tell it, yeah, I want to see.
Yeah, like I want to know about those outdated things because maybe I'm using the latest version of a package that is, now abandoned, and I'd like to know that it's abandoned and maybe look for an alternative.
So this is like impossible, right? It's workspace and then depth 99.
Yeah, it looks like cargo outdated doesn't. I'm not seeing a feature here to let you do the thing you want.
There's no way.
Why are you so surprised?
Because It's fundamental, Watson.
I mean, I don't blame them for building it this way. Like, what? It's like telling somebody about global warming. It's like, what am I supposed to do? somebody else's problem, you know? I mean,
So cargo tree would now still show me this request and that request.
yeah, so that's outdated. And if you ran cargo outdated in whatever library that is, the one that uses request.
Sure. Okay. I'm not. I totally think this should be a feature. Like, for me, this is a missing. You agree it's a missing feature, right?
Oh, I mean, I agree with you. I was playing devil's advocate. I was saying I understand why they built it this way. I, like you, care about the health of not just my project. I care about the health of the projects that my project uses. And if one of the projects I'm using is unhealthy, I want to know about it to whine to them or to look for alternatives or whatever. So,
And everyone does.
no, I think a lot of engineers don't care about stuff like that at all. I think they're happy to just, work on their project.
Well, let's not include them in the conversation. So I'm going to run an expect check because it seems like we are fresh, except for, I don't know, whatever features might be. No, I mean yeah. So still we saw the error that we got from cargo outdated. That should expose that problem if we had any more of that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Like
So
I've never seen it tell us about outdated stuff, but presumably it would.
so here's an expect check, and I can also do a cargo test if I reload here. Cargo test.
Anyways, this was a wonderful experience. This was, just what I'd hope from updates. Oh,
Except
what happened? Did we find a breaking change?
There's a breaking
Or are
change.
we back on? Oh yeah, a breaking change. How exciting. Is this because of the request thing? It is. Nice. All right.
Okay. So this will fail, but that's maybe the dependencies will build. Where is this? Fetch your source.
GitHub.rs.
I'm going to let you enjoy this. Seem to be
Sure.
excited about it.
Start. Dokie. Yeah, my editor is catching up with the world. '85. Expected client. All right.
I have this thing called self here.
Request async impl client. What is self? Self is a GitHub client. There should be some derive or something.
Hold on. the first thing I'm thinking about here is that this kind of thing, this kind of breakage could happen only if it was previously expecting a trait an impl trait, or a generic that implements something, and now it's expecting a concrete type. Is that a concrete type? Request async impl, what's expecting? That looks
This
like a
looks a little
complete type.
different. Why does this look different?
Because I think it's re-exported.
Okay.
There's like the canonical path, and there's the re-export.
Okay. And this looks like a concrete type to you because there's no like where clause?
If it was a trait, you'd see it would either be generic, which would look totally different, right? Or it would say impl and then some trait.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So it is a concrete type, which means whatever
Which
we were
means it
doing
was
before.
changed, right?
So should we look at the changelog, see if they documented this?
Because what we are passing there is obviously is always a concrete type, but the only way that it would have worked before in main, is that this function accepted an impl.
I see. What I'm confused about is, do we actually impl anything? Like, we define the struct
GitHub
here.
GraphQL client, yeah, implements GitHub client.
GitHub client.
That's why the purpose of it was simply be able to test, right?
Right.
Here is the real implementation, and here is the...
Yeah. Okay. So there's this trait called GitHub client, and I just don't see any glue between that and anything that the requests library knows about. Like, why would this thing right
I don't
here?
know. Look at main.
Yeah. Fair. Poor editor's got to start all over. But impressive that it was able to do that. Okay. Request client. That also looks concrete, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
Then what is self now? Wait, what? That's like
I
a
don't
type
understand how
mismatch.
these.
That looks like a type mismatch. Client's supposed to be a ref request client. Wait, hold on. Is the word self here confusing me?
I mean, I'm not getting a type error here. So those are definitely smell like they're aligned. GitHub GraphQL client. Do we like reference this somewhere? Wait, derive more. That interesting? This deref thing? Is that the magic?
It dereferences into, yes, dereferences into the field.
I don't see a dereferencing occurring here. Is there an implicit dereferencing going on?
Well, yes, in a function call.
This is the dereferencing or something? Like wherever
No,
query
at
pull.
the function, at the argument site, the argument position, which line?
Here?
No.
Oh, this thing. I see, the
no.
dot.
Where are you? Where'd you go? What is this?
I was looking for
I'm talking
invocations
about
of...
line 87. It's the function that we have the error for.
Oh,
Where
I
we
see.
pass
That's
self is passed.
okay. But
Because
here
it's a reference,
okay.
it can be dereferenced to something else.
And it's also
implicitly.
It's also implicitly getting dereferenced on line 84.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Right?
So I see.
That's not what it is. It's a GitHub client. No,
right.
it's a GitHub GraphQL client.
Yep.
So you can
Makes
also
sense.
do the question is, why is deref not working anymore?
Yeah.
So we can switch back to our branch and see what's going on there. Oh, you already did?
Yep.
So it's dereferencing into, probably it's a different type now. So that's request client. Maybe now there's a mismatch between this, because we have two versions of request.
And why is this happy? Oh, is that exactly it? Is it because this is a different
This is one request
client?
and that's another request.
Got it. Okay, great. All right, so if we can get our hands on the request that the underlying library uses, we'll be in business.
Actually, because it says expected reference request async impl client.
You think it's an async thing?
Is it what we...
I don't think so, because I asked about that inconsistency before, and you
Well,
said
hold on.
that was...
That doesn't... No, this inconsistency is just a matter of canonical path, and these are two different tools, I think.
Okay.
One is the type checking, shows you the full path, happens to show you some canonical path and some path that seems canonical, and in Rust Analyzer type resolution you get the shorter one, or some other how do you say, heuristic.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that these types might either be due to different, we have two different versions of request, or perhaps request has two different versions of client, one that is async impl and another that is sync impl.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking at the moment. We should try to find out. So GraphQL client, this is from this is GraphQL client create provides a module, exposes a module request. So it gives you, hey, this is the request I'm talking about. It re-exports it.
So can I do this? Oh, it doesn't export in the way I thought or hoped.
Well, you can see the canonical path in the Yeah, just use completion. The module exists. Use completion on top of it. I think the equal sign there is preventing completion. Nothing? I don't know.
Here's what that line of code looks like. Use request crate as request.
Sure. But you can no, it's that's not a re-export.
Okay.
That would have been a pub use. There are two items here: pub async function PostgreSQL and another function PostgreSQL blocking.
Yeah.
If you so this does not expose a client, like I said. Like I've assumed that it does, but it doesn't seem to do that.
Okay.
It just leaves it up to you, possibly, to make sure that you don't have two different versions to use the same version. Is it? And with Rust, it's a reasonable thing to do because you have control. Like you see the tree. Does it make sense? We saw the tree. We saw we have two versions.
Yep. Okay. So this seems annoying to fix though, because we're gonna like have to pin this dependency to a version that's compatible with one of our dependencies. Yes. So we can.
Yeah, either that or we don't have our own dependency. If we go into the documentation of what is this?
GraphQL client. Yeah.
Client. If we go into the documentation of this and we see all the items and we see that maybe it does have request exposed, that would be the
Not a lot going on here.
there's one module, and as you can see, there's only this, and I think there's a reason because we don't see the other ones probably behind a feature flag. And
it says default off. Yeah.
An additional feature flag. So yeah, we have to pin our requests.
That is so disappointing. So in their cargo toml, they're specifying a max. No, they're not specifying requests. Okay, so that's somewhere else. They have a max version of requests specified.
In a crate.
I just want to see that.
Probably GraphQL client.
How do you spell this? Is that it?
Way.
Yeah, okay. So 12.0.12.
Last one.
12.0.12. There it is. Okay. Weird. This isn't request. This is request-crate. Oh, I see. That's so they can get their hands on two different ones. Okay. Interesting. Huh. They've intentionally pinned this thing. Why?
Maybe there's a. But do they have?
Is this a lie?
Hold on. Go to the cargo toml that you just looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And is any one of them allow?
It's optional. What does that mean?
That's not a lie, right? Like to say less than or equal to 0.12. That's what we want, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But you're looking at master, right? Do we have 0.14?
Good
That are
point. Good point.
dependency?
These people do tags. Yes, they do. Lovely. Okay, let's see what version we're using. Because this probably sticks around for a while after 0.14 gets released, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we really care about is check out 0.14.0. Aha. Yep, you're right. But it still says optional.
That wouldn't. I think we using a feature. We're
So we
using
have
the
a
request feature.
JSON feature. What is the feature that just
Request
request crate?
or
What
request
pulls that in?
Brussels.
I see.
Probably.
Okay, so one of these features pulls that in. Okay, got it. Cool. All right, so there's this. All right, with the latest released version of GraphQL client. Yep. Okay, and Cargo doesn't have some feature for saying use this version of the thing from this other place or something.
Sorry, what?
Like my poor Python brain is not used to problems like this because my Python brain, there can only be one version of request, and so this thing would be holding us back, and that would be nice because that's the one version. And so in languages that allow you to carry around multiple versions of a dependency, this incompatibility can arise where like I'm feeding the type into it, but I'm feeding the wrong version of the type. Yeah. I've got the old version of the type, or I've got the new version of the type. It wants the old version of the type. They're two different types. That seems like something that would happen a lot in an ecosystem that allows you to carry around multiple versions of a thing. So I'm like,
here's one case.
Yeah. So I'm like disappointed to hear that the best fix is going to be for us to like pin it to 0.11 ourselves.
We'd have to do that unless we can find a version of GraphQL client. Why isn't 0? Why isn't there like a? Maybe we can use it from unpublished.
Yeah.
But that's a bit. I don't know that I would. Is there an alpha or beta? No.
No tags.
Try crates.io. That's what's actually published.
Okay. Well, I guess where I was going with that was like I'm surprised that like the Cargo ecosystem doesn't have some way of saying, hey, I want this version of this dependency and the version that's compatible with this other thing's desire. Because that would be the way to express what we're trying to do here is like we need a version of request that's compatible with this other thing that uses request.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that, but plenty of things I haven't seen in Rust.
Yeah. Because like my Python attitude on this is like I'd rather Rust not let me have multiple versions of the same thing than have to deal with this sort of a problem.
Sure.
But I guess I don't get to. Different choices. Okay. Well, that's annoying. I can't bring myself to write that line of code without a comment explaining why. So I guess the reason why is going to be we are blocked on this getting released, right? That has not been released yet.
Yes, seems like it.
West. Cargo Tommel. Go. Explain that in a second. Version is, I guess, what do they do? 0.11. Caret 0.11.
It's funny because caret is the default. It's unnecessary. They might
This is a
not
TOML
know that
file.
it's a default. They might not care that it's a default. Maybe they want to be explicit.
GitHub.rs. Go away. Build now, please.
What
Hey,
about
look
the
at that.
feature that? Oh, so we did change the feature.
Yeah.
Remember, it was just Russell's.
Right. And I
Maybe
guess
this one is like that one was deprecated already. So
yeah.
it's okay to change it.
TOML files are hard to split into multi-line, aren't they? Like if I try to do this, I'm going to be in a world of pain. I hate this. Okay.
You strongly dislike it.
I strongly dislike that. Okay. Test pinned.
But there is a way to. There's a way to do this multi-line. It's just not that way that you did.
Yeah, what is it? It's like you create a table or something.
It would be dependencies.request.
Got it. And then it's gonna like really screw up the formatting of everything.
No, what?
Dependencies.request.
Kind of.
Then this
These
stuff
would be lines.
goes like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that it's better.
Yeah.
Just for the purpose of, because it's obviously if you have a comment that says pin for the purpose of, but now you know how to do it.
Yeah. Pin for compatibility with what is it? GraphQL client. And unpin once. Okay. There we go. We did what we could. Cargo test. All right. Next. Okay. Maybe we get this landed and then call it a night.
That's fine by me.
All right. Cargo test passed. That's good.
Start. So just a matter of next flag check at this point.
Yeah, and
If cargo test passes, no, I think what we did is we used features to decide whether we'd have the impure tests, and they're off by default, right?
yeah, so I think they don't run anymore. That's a good point. We had talked about documenting how to run them, and then I think we didn't. But you're right. We should do a cargo test that runs
On
the
rebooting. Impure tests are behind the impure test cargo.
Yeah. So I don't actually know how to turn that into a cargo test incantation, but you can teach me.
Let's let this finish because it's actually consuming all the CPU.
Okay. I can try running it on my laptop. It's a cargo test dash something.
So I think big F flag is a feature.
Okay. Yep. Dash features. I see that. Dash big F is an alias for that.
And go ahead, provide that feature. It's
Okay.
called impure underscore test.
All right.
Now you
See how
might
this
not have
goes.
the
Right.
required credential.
I have a token, but I don't know if it's expired.
The token
Hey,
might
test
be
passed.
broken.
I think we're good. Or it didn't run the test and I can't tell.
Try a feature that doesn't exist.
Oh,
But
that
cargo
immediately failed.
Is there a list of tests that printed?
No. This is one of my big complaints about cargo tests. Like,
Could also do all features, all targets.
it just gives me this long list of running 0 tests at the end. And then,
Yeah, that's not useful. Don't tell me about tests you didn't run.
yeah. It's like, there's a lot of stuff that's great about Rust, but cargo test leaves things to be desired. What are these tests called? GitHub? Okay.
It exists at all, and there are
I
alternative
see a few tests running.
frameworks, I suppose.
I see a few tests running that have GitHub in the name. So I'm pretty sure these ran. I don't know what the tests are called. Confirm. GitHub.rs.
I think you better share screen because I'm running an quick check.
Yep. Screen. Go boom. No, entire screen. What am I doing? All right. So these are the impure tests right here. We have tests like pagination, for instance. And I ran the tests with -- features impure tests, and then I searched for GitHub, and I see stuff like GitHub test finite pagination, client pagination,
Where do you see the feature though?
and there's the pagination one. To really prove this, sorry, where do I see the feature?
Yeah, where do you see the? There.
Right there? Yeah.
Yes. Good.
And to really prove this, what I can do is I can do
It's okay.
GitHub token.
They're running.
Okay. All right. So I think we're good. So if Nick's Lake check passes, we're ready to. I mean, I guess you could start working on the commit message optimistically if you wanted to.
Doing VM tests. Not much remaining. So this is pretty impressive that our only, let's see, git diff. The only change we need to do is to like prevent something from being bumped for compatibility. We didn't need to do any code changes because nothing actually broke for us.
Yeah.
So cargo lock, I'm going to skip, and that's a lot. The cargo toml, that's our derive more being released from pinning. And this is like kind of an arguably unrelated change.
Yep.
And this is pinning.
I mean, it was related in the sense that it was necessary to upgrade it, and then it turned out we couldn't upgrade it. So, kind of funny.
Okay, mob done.
Awesome.
Sure. Update. Rust tests. Good.
Love it.
Switch main and git merge steps and push and git branch git push delete origin dump process and branch deletes POM process. Okay, that's done. And what this allows us to do later on, next time,
Yeah.
which who knows when will be, is
We were having issues with OpenAPI versioning. That's what caused us to say, let's just update everything.
yeah, we don't really know that this will help.
Yeah. Hopefully it will get that code to compile and we won't have to investigate, but we'll know. We'll find out next time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Jeremy, it was
Thank
great
you.
work. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you want to do this with us, then shoot me a message. It's like a few key presses away. Till next time, be well.
Bye.